Beep, beep, beep. How are we doing, good people? Hello and welcome to the Court of the Digester. Oh my. Sometimes I despair. And this is one of those moments when I despair, not in any real sense, but I despair that we've completely lost the plot, or that in particular, Labour has completely lost the plot, because they seem to be filled with absolute unbelievable nitwits, right? Case in point, become a warrior teacher, subscribe, share, do the thing, stuff's in the doobries, buy me a coffee if you can, right? Transing the dead, I'm calling this. Transing the dead, right? Now we know that we've seen things like Queen Elizabeth I was non-binary. The non-binary Joan of Arc, you remember that? That was a smash hit, wasn't it? I think it ran for 4 nights. And other related psychic paraphernalia from the Looney Tune LGBTQ quarters, right? We've all seen this before. So we have an article for you today from the Daily Telegraph, written by Charlotte Gill. I'm sure we've done one by Charlotte before. How are you, Charlotte? And published on the 3rd of February, entitled, "Dead People Should Be Able to Change Their Gender," says Labour MP. It's like some kind of perverted version of The Sixth Sense. I see trans people. In it, right? So, Nichols sparked criticism by calling for official records to be altered posthumously. No, I am not joking. They are serious. A Labour MP, you know, we say, give them an inch, they take a mile. This is it, innit? Incarnate. A Labour MP has called for the law to be changed so transgender people can have their gender changed posthumously in official records. In a written question to Parliament last month, she actually sat down and wrote it. Now, let me think, what can I do here to help the trans dead? It's a shame George Romero's gone, isn't it? He could have done one, couldn't he? Trans of the Dead. Because he did Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead and everything else of the dead, didn't he? Hiccups of the Dead or whatever it was he did. I loved his films. He could do Trans of the Dead, right? And set it in a woman's toilet with lots of zombies going around exposing themselves inappropriately. In a written question to Parliament last month, Charlotte Nichols, the MP representative for Warrington North, right, asked if the Gender Recognition Act, the GRA 2004, could be changed to allow transgender people who are deceased to be legally remembered by the gender they live by. No. No. What, so you can screw up the future historical records? People think we're lunatics. No. Just no. I mean, could you imagine? So, you remember when they unveiled Tutankhamun's tomb? Well, you don't remember it, but you know what I'm talking about. And it said in there, Tutankhamun, she lived well, and they found a male skeleton. What? This isn't Tutankhamun then, is it? No, you ain't getting to do that. For the archaeologists of 3100 or whatever it is, after we've destroyed ourselves on under a mountain of woke bullshit. Replying, Stuart Andrew, the Equalities Minister, said that the government had no plans to further amend the Act. That's the response from Stuart Andrew. The response should have been for him to stand up and go, "You're an idiot," and then just sit down again. They can't do that in Parliament, can they? As Karen Noakes keeps telling people, can I ask that you're all polite to one another, even if you think the person you're talking to and know the person you're talking to is a raving nutter? Mr. Andrew, he said where a person was using their new gender with an organisation prior to their death, and that was on their personal records, that we anticipate that the organisation would engage with their family members using the new gender. What for? That's half the problem, isn't it? See, this is the Equalities Minister, because he's torn, because he's stuck with this GRA thing. We've got to get out of the Equality Act. And then, amend the Equality Act to make sure this never happens again. And put all religions in their box. We need to do that too. Mr. Andrew added that these organisations could include the NHS. His response was fueled concerns of self-ID becoming normalised in the NHS. There we go. We're back to the self-ID normalisation. Last year, almost 14,000 campaigners asked the government to amend the GRA to allow for posthumous and expedited grants. Although it was rejected, earlier this year a coroner recorded a 17-year-old transgender teenager sexed as male in what is purported to be the first incident of its kind. A coroner, an official who records deaths, recorded the death of a transgender teenager sex as male when they are in fact female. This is the problem, you see, this infiltration of this parasitic idea. It's even affecting the coroner. You imagine they do the post-mortem, you know? It's like a Silent Witness episode again, isn't it? Or Waking the Dead, you know? Well, right, so this girl, this female, no, male, says the coroner. The coroner can override reality. It's not. We're not having this. Miss Max Summer, born female, who died by suicide on May the 13th, 2022, while under the care of Lancashire and South Cumbria NHS Foundation Trust Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, which the coroner accused of contributing to his death. Speaking of recent developments, Sir Liam Fox, the MP for North Somerset, who formerly worked as a medical doctor, said, "It is patently absurd, factually incorrect, and a statistical distortion. We would not be encouraging the idea that people can simply choose to change their biological status, nor should we bend truth to accommodate an ever more extreme and dangerous ideology." Thank you, Liam Fox, for some reality in the turgid mess that is the NHS and their gender cobblers. Right? I just said right. I've done it about 10 times already, I know. I'm trying to stop. Perhaps Jack can include it in his next article. The former Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage said, "The Tories are a woke government who pretend not to be and will lie to the voters at the next election. Just look at the evidence." Lucy Marsh, a spokesperson for the Family Education Trust, said, "It's extremely concerning that Labour appears to be pushing towards introducing gender self-ID through the back door. If coroners are allowed to lie on public record about the sex of deceased children, this will surely be a slippery slope towards self-ID becoming normalised in the NHS. If this is legally allowed, what's to stop deaths being recorded as non-binary or babies being registered as the opposite sex? The government needs to crack down on this and make sure the NHS is based in reality rather than fantasy." Miss Nichols told The Telegraph, "My question follows on from a recent petition supported by many of my constituents regarding amending the Gender Recognition Act. The genesis of the petition was the murder of my constituent Brianna Gay, whose life was brutally cut short, and so on." Okay. Office of National Statistics have screwed it up. The General Medical Council have screwed it up. The courts have screwed it up. The judges have screwed it up. The NHS has screwed it up. And we've got a Labour MP asking if we can screw it up some more. Make it make sense, peeps. Come and join the March Warrior Teachers. I'm going away now. I'll see you later.